悉地吽，嗡咕噜莲声悉地吽，嗡咕噜莲声悉地吽，嗡咕噜莲声悉地吽，嗡咕噜莲声悉地吽，
阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛，
阿弥陀佛。
阿弥陀佛。真佛网络大学第7门课真佛密
True Buddha
法。
School Online
学员
University
大家好，授课导师
students,
莲台上
greetings to
师你
everyone.
好，
Greetings
辅导员一
to
才讲师好，
Master Shi Lianlai,
辅
the
导
teaching
员
master
美
of
儿
today's
助教
lesson,
你好，
and to all the
春云助教好，还有翠芳助教你
volunteers working
好。
behind the scenes.
首先，我们先看一下我们今天的印尼翻译员图正师兄，你好。我们英文的翻译员
Greetings
是雷安
to
法师，法师好。
Dharma brother Tu Cheng on the
还有
Indonesian
我们新加坡的
interpretation
莲花玉
channel,
祥师兄，加拿大的
and
马助教，阿
various
弥陀佛，
Dharma
你好。
siblings around the world.
还有吴妹啊，她是准助教，你好。方广堂丽丽师姐，还有方广堂的同门，大家好。玉华助教好。小金师姐你好，国华师兄，阿弥陀佛，还有瑞士的少敏师姐，阿弥陀佛，秋娟助教你好。首先，我们先跟大家提醒，我们在下周五呢，
Let me first
是
remind
否师
everyone,
尊的十
next
八岁的
Friday
佛诞呢？我们
coincides
网络大
with
学
our
这
lineage
次一
guru's
周
birthday, so
就是改为
there
在我
will
们这个频
not
道，
be any
还有在
lessons next
YouTube
week.
有一个我们真佛中全球
But
网络同修的
on
频
the
道
True Buddha
改为
Foundation
我们同
Education
修上师
Department's
相念法，还
um,
有加念真佛之
YouTube
名，
channel,
我
there
们一
will
起来
be
祝福
a
师尊佛诞
Pamakumara
快乐，
Guru Yoga
请大家
practice
一定要上
with
线
the
起来祝
additional
福哦，
recitation of the True Buddha
谢谢
Sutra.
大家。
So in Chinese. So you're
那我
welcome to
们今天
participate
的
if you like
课
to.
程呢？
And today's class
是进入到我们真佛密法
will
边
be
共法的课程。
entering
相
chapter 2.
信
We'll be
莲
going
台
to
上师
chapter
一定
2of
准
the
备了非
course.
常多很
And
重
I'm
要的一
sure
些
that Master
口
Lin
诀
Lai
要来教授给我们。
has prepared
首先，我
a
们
lot
介
of
绍
keys
回顾到
of the
我们
practice.
上个
And
礼
let's
拜
do
呢，
a quick revision
莲
of
台
last
上
week's
师
lesson.
他
Master
教
Lin
导我
Lai
们，
taught us
在本尊法的口诀里面呢，
in the
因为
keys
上师
to
他
cultivating
长
Yidam
期深
Yoga.
入的修持，
Because of
所以呢，
his
他
deep
具有实
practice,
修实证的一
he
些经验。
has
上师
experience
也
from
很
actual
慈悲
practice,
的教导，
and he
非常精进
compassionately
的收
shared
集
with
了很
us
多师
and
尊
taught
一起
us
教过我们的一些
the
口诀哈，
keys
带
that
领
he
我
has
们
collected from
进一步
Grandmaster's
的
teachings,
透过
helping
我们
us
观想
to
持
go
咒进入
deeper
定境，
into
然后跟本尊的
visualization,
身口意相应，
samadhi,
实现
and
内在的
attaining
清净
yogic
觉醒。
union with our
原
idams
来上师的课程
to
内容非
purify
常
our body,
丰
speech,
富，
and mind.
而且深入浅
His
出，
teachings are
京剧
very
自听和
rich
实修的口诀，
and
极受我
um,
们所有的学员的赞扬，
profound, even
非常
though
的感
simply
谢上
expressed.
师。
So we're very thankful to Master Lin Lai for his teachings.
当中呢，我觉得有一段跟大家分享，我
Among
非常
the
觉得
teachings
记忆非常深刻、
he
感动的，就
mentioned,
是
one
师
of
尊
the
曾
things
经
that made
告
a
诉我
great
们，
impression on
就
me
是
is
上师在课程当中举
Grandmaster
出来，师尊文集呢第一百
in
五十
his
七册里
book
面，在《粒
107,
粒珍珠》这本书当中，在第
he
11节的
wrote
相应里
in
面，
chapter
师尊特
11
别
on yogic
就是
union,
嘱咐我们，指出呢，
he
我们为
instructed
什么
us
行者呢修行多年而还未相应的原因啊。第一个就
on the
是隐
reasons why we're
私，
not able to
就
attain
是
yogic
你对你的
union
上
even
司还抱
despite
有信心，
years
非
of
要信于
practice. It could
法，
be due to a lack of
可能会认为说这个法
faith
是
or
不科
confidence
学，
in
可以说
Grandmaster
是
or
行者
his
呢他本
Dharma
身的职务
teachings,
太多了，
or
意
the
思就
practitioner
是
has too many
有修持
secular
的仪轨漏失
obligations,
了。
or there are
再来就
flaws
是
in the
第
practice
五，
of the
行
Dharma,
者的妄念呢太
or
多，
the practitioner
或者
has too
是说
many discursive
第
thoughts or
六的情况是
deluded
功夫
thoughts,
太杂。上师也很用词的举
or
得很鲜明的
your
例
homework
子，
cultivation is
让大
too
家有所警惕。我觉得这件
is
事
not
情
focused enough,
真的
has
大
too
家谨
many
记在
things
心，永远不要犯上
containing too many
错误。
diverse
好好
elements.
的精进实修，
So
跟
we hope
着
that
师尊
we
跟着
can
上师的
be
脚步，
diligent
一步一
in the
脚印，一
practice
起来修
and
法。
also practice
接
correctly.
下来我们欢迎
And
连追教授师导
next,
员自
let's
荣助教，
welcome also other Dharma propagators
林
like Senior
真助
Reverend Lian
教，
Tree and Dharma Assistant Lian Chen
加拿大的来花助教，你好，
and various Dharma propagators.
欢迎大家进入到我们
Welcome
的法华2
everyone
的课程。
for
我们今天呢，上师
attending
在呢
today's
教授我
lesson.
们有关于
And
烟供
today,
法。
Master Lian
那
Lai will
烟
be
供
teaching
法呢，
about the
它
smoke
是
offering Sadhana,
每一位行者呢
which
修
is
行时不可错过的一个殊胜的法门。
something
我
that we
们
shouldn't miss as spiritual
应该要
cultivators in our
仔细
cultivation.
的，我们今天
And
呢，
so we should pay
非常
great
荣
attention
幸邀请
to
到我们连来上师来教授
this
我
lesson.
们讲解烟
We're very
供
honored
法。
to have Master Lian Lai teaching this class.
好，那现在时间来到7:58。
And it is now
接下来
7:58
呢，我
p.m.
在这里跟大家分享师尊
Following
曾经
this,
在这个
let me
法会的
share
说法
what
当中
Grandmaster
呢，
has
师
mentioned
尊
in
说
a discourse. He
烟供
said,
法呢，就是可以
the
消
smoke
除我们
offering
行者的
Sadhana
至
is
亲
able
或
to
者家人，甚至于你在上班的
remove
同事，或者是你的朋友，所有的障碍都可以消除尤
obstacles
其是你的人际关系啊，
pertaining
或者
to
是
all
你的
relationships,
你的
whether
邻
it's with
居，
family,
或者是你在的
neighbors,
团体里面，
co-workers, friends, or
甚
in
至你在
organizations,
公司，或者是跟你的上
whether
司，
in work, in career
甚
with
至可
your
以大到
supervisor,
说
your boss,
跟政府之间，或
or
者是说
even
在
with
国
the
际之间
government
国与
or
国之间的一些障
internationally,
碍呢，我们都可
um,
以靠
the
这个烟供
obstacles
法
between
呢来解
nations
决。从小
can
事
be
呢到大
dispelled
事都可
through
以，
the smoke
我们
offering.
来
So the
使用
smoke
这个
offering
烟
is
供法
able
呢，都
to
可以
remove
让这个我们
obstacles,
的冤亲
both
债
great
主
and
啊，
small,
都可以
and
就是说
enable
可以
karmic
跟
creditors
他解冤释结。
to
甚至于呢，师尊说，甚至于我们过去
to
起的一
untie or
些
unravel the
或者是不
knots
管是
of
无
enmity
形
between
或
us
者是
and
有
our karmic
形的
creditors,
障碍，都可以
and to
解除。
remove
大
obstacles
家说是
whether
不是非
in
常重
the
要啊？
physical realm
所
or
以
in the
我们
invisible realm,
今
from the
天呢，
invisible realm.
一定要非常非常用
So
心的来学
we need
习。连
to
来上师即将要教授
really
给
pay
我们的这个
attention
烟
to
供
today's
法。
lesson.
那不管是你今天上课有任何的疑问，甚至于
And
呢，
if you have
你
any
今天的提
questions
问一定
from
要跟
today's
烟供法
class,
有关，请大家
it
配
should
合，也谢谢大家。
be related to
也欢
today's
迎
topic. So
大
we
家
hope
将
that
你授
everyone
课的
will
心得分享在
um,
我们 WhatsApp
take
的
note of
佛法
this,
的群组，跟
and
大
you
家一起分
can
享。
post your questions
好，
in any of the
我
channels,
们
whether
时
on
间已经
YouTube or
快要
comments
到了，我
or
再看一
WhatsApp
下。
groups or
不知道
etc.
其他的还有没有什么？我这里有看到荷兰有一位立禅师姐、莲琴法师、阿弥陀佛、智伟师兄、青春师姐吗？还有迪禅师姐、景文师姐、万亮师兄、莲花童子有一位是光福，应该是助教对吗？还有可明师姐好，玉珍师姐、齐果师姐，师兄对不起，嗯、还有桂霞师姐、金花师姐、招财师姐，
And greetings to
师
all these
兄，
other
贵助
Dharma
教对吗？
siblings,
还有我
fellow
们的辅
disciples.
导员彩虹助教，还有顺慈师姐。还有看到台湾三立叠藏寺的莲奇法师，谢谢，欢迎大家。好，我们8点整，我们开始课程。欢迎我们的会长莲花城主
The
上
time now
师，
is 8 p.m.
授课
Let's
导师
welcome
莲的
TBF
上师，
Chairman,
也
Master
欢
Gao,
迎莲花
and
上师信
also
徒，还有各位上师、教授
Teaching
师、
Master
法师、
Lian
讲
Lai, as
师、
well
助教以
as
及
Master
各位
Lian
同
He
门。
from the TBF Education Department,
欢迎大
and
家
all
一
various
起
levels
在真
of
理网络大
various
学
levels of all
共
Dharma
同一网呢，
propagators
听
and
到我们
fellow
今
Dharma
天
siblings.
讲解第三
Today's
章的
topic
烟供
will
法。
be
事不宜
Chapter
迟，我
2
们有
on the
请
smoke
我所
offering
出自
Sadhana.
英
And
国
without further ado,
非
let's
常和蔼
welcome the
可
teaching
亲的连来上
master,
师为我们
very
授课，请
enduring
大
and
家把您
knowledgeable
的
Master Lian Lai.
8888，我们来
And
欢
to
迎我
welcome
们
him,
的
you
授
can
课
type
导
in
师
888 in
连来
the
上
chat
师。
window.
好，我们一起恭敬合掌。
First of all, let's put our palms together reverently to pay homage to our lineage guru, His Holiness Living Buddha Liansheng. Wholehearted homage and invocation of the lineage gurus of Tribhuvan School. Wholehearted invocation of the four-armed Avalokiteshvara, triple gem. We pray for your great blessing light to bless our learning to be fruitful and auspicious. Let's form the Pama Kumara Mudra and recite the mantra 7 times.
Om Guru Lian San Siddhi Hom. 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 我们尊贵无上的根本上
Our
师，圣尊
esteemed
莲
lineage
生
guru,
活
His Holiness
释
Living
无
Buddha
莲
Liansheng,
香金刚上师，
Shenmu
我们
Bhadra
尊
Master
贵
Lian
的教
Xiang,
育
our
部处长联
esteemed
合上
TBF
师，
Education
合上师，
Department
各
Director, Master
位
Lian He,
尊贵的
all
教授师、
masters, all
法
senior
师、讲
reverends,
师、助
reverends,
教，
Dharma
各位同门
instructors,
大
Dharma
德，晚上好。
assistants, and all fellow Dharma siblings. Greetings to everyone.
好，今天是我们新的一
Today's
节课，
topic
叫做言
is
供
on a
法。
new chapter on the smoke offering Sadhana.
这个言供法，
This
其实
smoke
在
offering
我还没
Sadhana,
有出家之前啊，
before I became
我
a
本身
monastic
就
or
已
a monk,
经有开始
I
的
had already started
修
to
持了哦。
cultivate it
那
or
时
practice
候我还
it.
没出
At
家，
that
师
time,
尊
I had not
2008
become
年
a monk,
传授这个言
and
供法的时候
Grandmaster
啊，
transmitted
那时候
this
我已
in
经有在修
2008.
持，
At that
所
time, I
以
was already practicing this smoke
这
offering
个
Sadhana.
命运的安排，
So,
让我有幸的又在
by the
跟大家
arrangement
分享这
of
个言供
fate
法，
or
我觉得
destiny,
真的是一
I
种
have been
最美
arranged
好的
to
安排啊。
teach this topic.
也
It's really
在还没有开始
part
之
of
前，
the best and most
我先
beautiful
调
divine
整一下我
arrangement.
的荧幕
And
哦，
before we
因
begin,
为
let
之
me
前有
first
人反
adjust
映我
the
的头
screen
啊摇得
because
很快，是在摇头。你是不是因为你们面
previously
前只看
there
到
was
我的那
feedback
个
regarding the
PowerPoint，
movement of
可是
my
在我
head
面前其实有3
from
个荧幕
left
哦，所
to
以有时候
right
也是要
and
左
as
看右
though
看，
I'm shaking my head
然后慢
because
慢
there
的
are
他们
three
告诉
screens
我
in
怎么
front of
调，
me
现在要调一
and
下就会比较
so
好，
I need to
你们
adjust
看起来
my
不会很怪
screens
哦，我的
so
我
that
就
it
是
wouldn't
往
seem
左往
strange
右。
to you
好，
that
今
I'm like
天我
looking
们的
left
言
and
供法
right.
的大纲主要有8项。第一就是跟
There are
以往
8 points
一
in
样，
today's
我问你
outline of the
我
class.
问你们2个问
I'll
题，
ask questions
好，你
and
们
you
心中有
answer.
答案的
That's part
话，
one.
那更好
If you
哦，然后
have
到最后
answers
的时候我们
in
揭晓，看看
you
我们的答
can
案是不是一样。
in your mind, that's great.
接下来我
We
们
can see whether
来
our
学
answers
习
collide at the
师
end.
口中的言供
And
法
part
传
2
承乃
is
至哪一
about the
类
lineage of
祖师
Tribhuvan
爷。
School's smoke
好，
offering
第
Sadhana.
3为什么
Number
要修
3,
言
why do
供
we
法？
need to practice the
第
smoke
4
offering Sadhana?
言
Number
供法
4,
是供养
the
业
smoke
亲的代
offering
表，我们知道
Sadhana
是
is
供
an
养这些
offering
无
to
形的
karmic
众生。
creditors
那么
and
使这
invisible
些神
beings.
众法
But
跟
what
他是否
about
有一样
the
呢？还是
bestowing
他
of
们
food
是他
to
们是有差
ghosts
别
and
的？
spirits? Is there
然
a
后
difference? What's the
第
difference?
5项
Number
我们一
5,
起探讨我们的冤亲
let's
债主到底
investigate
是怎么来的。
how
然后第
do
6
our karmic
开
creditors
始
come
进入
about?
修言供法的主题。 首
Number
先我们要
6,
知道
and
怎么
we
准备
enter
言供粉
into the
它的
sadhana,
准
the
备的
ritual,
道
the
具
practice
工
procedure,
具哦，
its
然后第
ingredients,
7
the
进入这
tools and
个言供
equipment
法
or
的仪
implements.
轨。第
Number
8
7 is about
它
the
的
practice
注意
procedure
事项，
itself. And
做
number
言供
8,
法的确是有注意事
things to
项的
take
哦。
note
先
regarding
前
the
那个
practice
本师
of
法它的
the
主
smoke
题
offering
是说
sadhana.
注意事项，我叫我们改哦。
Number
修
8,
本
there
经法
are
没有什
things
么
to
注
take
意事
note
项
of
的哦，我们也不是去
regarding the
模
smoke
仿，要
offering
注意什
sadhana.
么，所以
Previously,
干脆
in
把
terms
它
of the
改成
Idam
入本
Yoga,
尊法的
there
先
was
要
a
处决
chapter
就对
that
了哦。
and the
那
title
言
was
供法的确
originally
有注意事
called
项，所以要小
注意
心
事项, things to take note of
好，
or to
进
pay
入
attention
第
to,
1
but I
项
requested it to be
大
changed
纲，
because
我问
it's
你
not
答。
that dangerous.
第1个问
But
题
for
也
the
是大
smoke
家
offering
很
practice,
关
there
注
are
很
things
关
to take
心的
note
一
of.
个问题。
So the first
我们的
question,
冤亲债主啊，
when we
会不会因为
practice
修法之后啊，
the smoke
本来
offering
就5个
sadhana,
的，
will
然
karmic
后就变成
creditors
10个，再
increase
修下去变
from
成
5
20
to
个，
10, and the more
越
we
修越
practice, they
多，
will
会不会
become
变成这样？
they'll
更
turn into
糟糕的是，
karmic creditors? And even worse, will it become a case of we can invite them easily, but it will be very difficult to send them away? So there are people who want to practice the smoke offering Sadhana, but they are fearful, and there's this an inherent fear. So this is the first question. If you're able to answer this question, then good for you. It means that you probably don't have any fear in this practice. Number two, are karmic writers, are they in the physical realm or are they from the invisible realm? And let's enter the lineage, the part about the lineage of the smoke offering Sadhana, which comes from the yellow sect. From so we can go from the bottom. In the yellow sect, our grandmaster has a name called Tupten Chi Mo, and he taught this the smoke offering sadhana transmitted in 2008. And after I received the empowerment, and when I came back, I started to practice it. So Grandmaster received empowerment from Tupten Darati, who received empowerment from Tupten Dali, who received empowerment from Tupten Lima, who received empowerment from Ganchu Rinpoche, who received empowerment from Shankar Rinpoche, who received empowerment from Shakya Yeshi and from Tsongkhapa. So we can get to know our lineage gurus. This is what Shakya Yeshi looks like, and Shankar Rinpoche Ganchu Rinpoche, Ganchu, and Thupten Nima. And Thupten Dali, because I was not able to find a photo of him online, so I'm just using this very adorable image of this adorable little bodhisattva and as a substitute image. And then there's Thupten Darati, Master Thupten Darati, and our Grandmaster. So if we're not familiar with this, it's not, we should be familiar with our lineage gurus. So why should we practice the smoke offering sadhana? Because it's a very simple and convenient method to make offerings to Buddhas as well as our karmic creditors. There's a common understanding we need to have in other traditions of Tibetan Buddhism. They can use it to make offerings to ghosts and spirits, but in true Buddha school, the smoke offering sadhana cannot be used to make offerings to ghosts and spirits. The smoke offering sadhana is a repentance sadhana as well as an offerings practice. It can dispel hindrances both in the physical realm as well as from the invisible realm. It can unravel karmic entanglements. There are karmic there's karma between us and our karmic creditors. The smoke offering is suitable for modern people. A lot of people live in cities, so it's not convenient for them to practice Homa. And you'll be very surprised that it can also help you to increase in your resources to accomplish your spiritual cultivation endeavors. Karmic creditors have not just followed you for one lifetime. Sometimes they have followed you for multiple lifetimes and they are unwilling to go into cyclic transmigration because of their hatred. And instead of going their own way, they follow you. They attach themselves to following you. So by practicing the smoke offering sadhana, it can help them to depart the from their current state so that they can continue on, progress forward. And so it's actually beneficial to sentient beings in the six realms. And when we learned Idam Yoga, that was mentioned that the reasons for not being able to attain yogic union is sometimes due to karmic hindrances, interference. So the Vajrasattva Sadhana helps us to clear our inner hindrances, but while the smoke offering Sadhana helps to clear external obstacles from outside. So it's a method for that. And let's go into this part about the difference between the smoke offerings sadhana, making offerings to karmic creditors versus the offering to ghosts and spirits method. So one of the first key difference is the smoke offering. Sadhana is to make an offering to sentient beings with a karmic affinity with you, whereas the 施食法 is arises from your bodhicitta and compassion to help them become nourished. It's to all assembly of ghosts and spirits, the great Garuda, Rakshasa, etc. The second point, the purpose of the Siddhanas are different. For smoke offering, it's repentance and offering, whereas the 施食法 is because these beings have no direct relationship with you, it's out of compassion, and you hope that they can become nourished so that they will not harm sentient beings. So you need to know that these ghosts and spirits, some of them, their nourishment derives from qi or blood, or they Grandmaster mentioned that a person once lived in a house where there's a ghost that eats blood, and when the children go to the toilet, there's blood in their feces. So when Grandmaster realized this, he did not think about it from the perspective of the invisible realm. Grandmaster first brought his children to see the doctor. And then after that, then he used his extrasensory perception to investigate, and he realized that the ghost was that there was actually interference from the invisible realm. So the nourishment of ghosts and spirits is very different from human beings. It can be very diverse. And so when we make offerings to ghosts and spirits using the 施食法, they will be satiated, and so they will not cause disturbances to human beings. However, if you are not a monk, you're not a monastic, you must first receive empowerment from Grandmaster for the 施食法. So because monks have it's their duty to do the 施食法. So but if you're a monastic and you want to receive the empowerment, you still can. Number three, the goal of the practices are different. The first, for smoke offering, Sadhana. Okay, so this point is sort of similar or overlaps with the first point. But they're different in terms of the smoke offering Sadhana is to unravel karmic entanglements and knots of enmity with our karmic creditors, whereas the 施食法 is about planting seeds of merit or increasing our merit and resources to help these invisible beings in the invisible realms. So I have this fear of the camera, so I have to thank the TBF Education department for giving me a chance to overcome my fear of facing the camera. After a few times of having to face the camera in this way, I have improved, and so let me remind everyone again, whether 施食法 or smoke offering Sadhana, you have to receive empowerment in accord with Dharma requirements. The next part, how do our karmic creditors come about? In the Emperor of Liang Repentance, there is a section that explains it very well. So I'm using it to explain this concept of karmic creditors. It's from scroll 5 of the Emperor of Liang Repentance, which is about the section on unraveling knots of enmity with our karmic creditors, or unraveling these grievances, karmic grievances. So when you receive the PDF of the slides, you can refer to it. Maybe you have a deeper understanding or a different perspective of the content. So some key points from the text: our parents, our siblings, our family members and relatives, they are the source of love, grace, or hatred or enmity from the past, present, and future. You have to understand that those with hatred all come from those who are near. Would you lose your temper with someone in Africa if you don't know that person? The reason why you have that love or hatred, it comes about because you have contact or connection with them. What about celebrities? Why would you have love with, why would you be a fan or adore a celebrity? It's because you see that person. But one day, if you see that celebrity doing something that is against with your value system, maybe your adoration might turn into hatred. So, for instance, when celebrities they have scandals, and then their fans are very angry and desert them, abandon them. Um, so there is a saying that goes, the deeper your love, the deeper your hatred. So without that feeling, that connection, there won't be a turnaround in that. But of course, it's not so. It's it's a whole process. It's not an immediate transformation, but it's it's not always that the person will follow you and become entangled with you in every lifetime or in the past time. It's a process where karmic seeds are planted. So remember we mentioned about Pratyeka Buddhas, about the concept of dependent origination. So if you have a relationship with your relative, your family right now, and there is some sort of unhappiness between you, and because of this unhappiness, in the next life you will meet the person again. And because you are relatives in your past life, when you see that person, there will be you'll you will be happy to meet him, but then there is also that potential of enmity there. And in some cases, the love might degenerate into hatred to such an extent that some people actually commit acts of murder. And if you're not able to overcome your three poisons, it might degenerate to the extent of wanting to eat the being's flesh, drink the person's blood. If you think about it, when you eat meat, it's as though you're eating uh, your karmic creditors' flesh, and and don't because of what I said, don't turn into a vegetarian. You have to understand that even vegetarians, like the even plants, Grandmaster has mentioned that the concept of 8 realms of cyclic transmigration instead of the 6 realms, and the 8 realms will include plants and minerals. So I hope that you will not give rise to attachments or misconceptions and cause your life to descend into chaos. Hope you will understand, like in tantric practice, we will actually do bridal deliverance. And so when before eating meat or even vegetables, we have to do bridal deliverance. If there is still spirit attached to the meat, then um, there is some sort of feeling there, but then after your bridal deliverance and the spirit detaches from the meat, then everything will be fine. So, in this excerpt of the sutra, mentions that if two people are very far away from each other, naturally there will be no hatred. However, when relationships are very close, you see each other every day, and you have the three poisons, you're contaminated by the three poisons, and the other party is also contaminated by the three poisons. The friction between these conditions will result in conflict. And this is why the closer people are, the easier it is for them to develop conflicts. Okay. And number 7, parents have expectations towards their children, and children also have expectations toward their parents. So a lot of times children wish that they are the wealthy second generation. Parents also wish their children to become very successful so that they can also enjoy their later years. Maybe parents might think, oh, my son is so successful. And so a lot of people don't realize that it's collective karma, and they have the misconception that I'm not able to spiritually cultivate. I have to earn money so that I can express filial piety to my parents. And have you ever thought that your parents are not able to enjoy their latter years? It's also because of their karma. So the two of you will collide with each other. A person once said, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, can you bestow me with a sum of money so that I can be filial to my parents, so that have no worries, so that I can practice spiritually without any worries and troubles? Have you ever thought that it's because that they don't wish you to be able to transform your destiny and fate through spiritual cultivation, and thus you encounter all these conditions? If you have the resources to spiritually cultivate, you wouldn't have to think about all these. And among siblings, brothers and sisters, they would also reprimand each other. Sometimes they would blame each other. For instance, they might become jealous of each other. So frustration or enmity can arise very easily. And they would accrue interest in the next life. And then sometimes it would degenerate to the extent where the karmic creditors would rather follow someone rather than go into cyclic transmigration or go forward on their own paths. So sometimes, even though they try to fulfill your wishes, the other party may not be grateful. And even just once, if they don't fulfill your request, that the other party would give rise to anger, forgetting all the good deeds and the kindnesses or the grace that the other party has already done for them. And over time, these negative thoughts or blame or animosity would increase gradually, and the feeling of love would degenerate into enmity. And let's go now into the practice procedure of the smoke offering, as well as its ingredients and implements or tools. So there's smoke offering powder that's sold outside. My personal feeling toward this is Grandmaster has asked the Ghost King, and the Ghost King told Grandmaster that if you want to make offering to ghosts and spirits, do not use canned food. You have to offer cooked food, because the Ghost King replied, because you have put in your heart into cooking the food, it will be it's easier for them to receive nourishment, or they'll be satiated by that. So this is my own the following is my personal perspective. If you really have no time, you can just buy the smoke offering Sadhana. But because I'm very particular or meticulous about Sadhana, I feel that the smoke offering powder that you buy outside is not is not the most ideal. But I don't know whether this will offend the people who sell the smoke offering powder. So you can make up your own mind. So sometimes the failure in smoke offering sadhanas comes from not being able to light the smoke offering powder easily, or to light it. So at the cultivation venue, they once asked me to, that was 2008. So before the True Buddha Foundation released their notice, so I actually led a group cultivation of the smoke offering Sadhana. And at that time, I didn't have any idea of misconceptions. So because, and everything was everything went smoothly, nothing happened. But we did encounter situations where the smoke offering um, uh, ingredients were not easily lit, but there were also a lot of insights from carrying out the practice. You need to have the right Dharma implements to do the smoke offering and the tools. Grandma's has taught you can use a smoke offering censer, you can use a censer for horizontal incense, the second from the left. You can even use the bowl of monastics, the bowl. But nowadays, a lot of monastics don't use this singing bowl or this alms bowl. So there isn't strict requirement for your censer as long as it's able to contain a smoke offering powder. So I think that you can be flexible in terms of this. As but from all the references, it needs to be able to hold the smoke offering powder. If you ask, can you use a plate? Yes, if it's able to contain, or if you want something that's easier to clean, on a lotus. Later on, when I go into detail, even paper lotuses, they're actually one of the offerings. So my personal recommendation, when we were doing the cultivation of the smoke offering sadhana, we actually found this very interesting. It's probably harder to find in America or Europe, but in Southeast Asia or where there are Indian people, they have this implement which is like a bowl, which is made from incense powder, and when you light it, even the bowl can become burnt. Have you seen it? If you haven't, this is what it is. And it's called the Sambrani cup. You can It's very small. It's only like a 50-cent coin. I'm not sure if the size of a 50-cent coin is the same everywhere, but you can even it even comes in bigger sizes. And the small the small cup is only 30 cents Singapore dollars. So maybe Malaysian ringgit might be more. So it can be lit and it's empty, hollow, empty in the center. And when you buy it, it usually when you buy it, it will contain, I'm not sure what it's called, probably frankincense. You can put the smoke offering powder on it, and it will, when you light it, it will be like on the top right corner, the image where even the container will become burned. So if you're making the smoke offering powder by yourself, you can use this mold. Or I know that the plastic mold is available in our school, and then you can press it, and then it's like the one in um, the yellow mold. And then after you press it, you remove it, and it looks like the image on the bottom right corner. Later, when we go into the ingredients of the smoke offering, one of the reasons why it's not easily lit is the proportion of ingredients in the smoke offering, and some of the ingredients are not easily lit. let's first have a concept of when you're preparing the smoke offering powder, you need to separate into two categories. One is sandalwood powder and easily lit ingredients, and the other category is the items that are not easily lit. So when you are about to practice a smoke offering sadhana, you must first you can do an experiment first. You can do two scoops or two portions of the ingredients that are easily lit, and then one portion of the ingredients that are not easily lit, and mix them together and see whether it's easy to light it. And so you can experiment and see whether this is easily combustible. If it isn't, then you have to adjust the proportion of the ingredients. So you need to, so this is before you actually start the smoke offering. So don't start practicing the smoke offering sadhana immediately because you need to first make sure you have an offering that is easily combustible before you start, before you commence the smoke offering sadhana practice. So let's go into how we prepare it. Grandmaster has taught that the smoke offering powder, um, the way it's described here is that it's all mixed together, but if you use if you try to follow what I mentioned just now, you will be able to more easily discern how it works. If you mix everything all together all at once, then it might spoil more easily. And then because at that time we had group cultivation, so we mixed everything together and the proportions were right. However, because the part of the ingredients that was not easily combustible, it can grow mold if you don't use it in the so when you mix it with the sandalwood powder, everything will spoil. So my recommendation is to first separate the items until it's time for you to practice the sadhana, and then you mix the two. So you uh prepare a little bit of milk, powder, and then also so it says just a little bit of milk powder and also a little bit of peanut powder, also brown rice powder, bean powder, and also powder from the five grains. And there is also simple offerings will include flour, cereal, um, rice powder, butter, milk. A lot of people worry about milk and butter, whether it will cause it to become difficult to be ignited. And yes, it's true. That's why I mentioned you should separate the items. For milk, you need to let it dry. You need to let it dry. So if you're preparing it, if you're doing smoke offering tomorrow, you don't prepare. You don't only start preparing the ingredients tomorrow. You need to do it much earlier beforehand. And because milk is really not easy to burn, you just only use a little bit and slowly try to figure it out yourself. And when you catch the proportion, what really will allow your smoke offering to burn is actually the sandalwood powder and not all these ingredients. So just put a little bit of the milk and the butter, mix them together and when it's all dry, it will be combustible. So when Grandmaster was teaching about the smoke offering powder, we we did that wasn't the air fryer, but now there's the air fryer. In 2008, there weren't all these equipment, so now you can use all these implements to dry the items. Mix the brown sugar with the white sugar, which the significance is to let the karmic creditors taste something sweet to unravel their resentment or dissolve their resentment and hatred. So the cloth of the five colors, cut them to very small, tiny squares, please do not, I would recommend that please do not mix them directly with the ingredients that are not easy to burn. So these 5 colors are red, white, blue, green, and yellow. I would recommend that put all these fabrics into at the bottom and then put the smoke offering powder on top of it. If your finances allow it, you can use slightly bigger pieces of fabrics. And when the smoke offering powder burns all the way down, these fabrics will still burn. If you mix it inside with the smoke offering ingredients, it will be very difficult to burn. And when we burn the smoke offering, we usually would put them outside after lighting the smoke offering ingredients, so we wouldn't know, and you would not be able to add sticks of incense because you are not doing a homa. If you see the homa fire is diminishing, you can add items because for smoke offering, um, if you are practicing outside, and you see that the smoke offering is not burning well, you can maybe add certain more combustible elements. However, if you have already done an investigation of the proportion of the combustible ingredients with the not so combustible ingredients, then you don't really have to worry about it when you're doing your own smoke offering sadhana practice. And let's go into the practice procedure of the smoke offering sadhana. Seems like I'm going a little bit fast. Okay, so the main deity of the smoke offering is the four-armed Avalokiteshvara. And do not change this. Remember when we learned about Idam Yoga, the Kriya Tantra, Chara Tantra. So the main deity of the smoke offering sadhana is four-armed Avalokiteshvara. Don't think Avalokiteshvara's boss is Amitabha Buddha. So if we change it to Amitabha Buddha, wouldn't it be more powerful? Please do not change the sadhana. Follow accordingly. And there are two mudras involved. The first is the lotus mudra. So your palms are placed together first, and then your 3 of your fingers separate, resembling a flower. And the second mudra is the great golden winged Garuda mudra. And during the offering, it's the smoke mudra. So actually, it's not really we're not really invoking the Garuda, but it resembles the Garuda because during the offering, we will move the fingers to resemble the movement of the smoke. So we are not invoking Garuda. Please be clear on this. It just happens to coincide with the smoke, the form of the smoke. So it's actually more of the smoke mudra. And when we are doing the practice, you will move your 4 fingers, which represent the smoke, the movement of the smoke. So there are 3 mantras. The first is the heart mantra of Avalokiteshvara Om Mani Padme Hum. And in 2008, Grandmaster transmitted this. He actually said Om Mani Padme Hum say. But the Dharma Affairs Department, all the practice procedures from TPF, they will ask Grandmaster or consult Grandmaster. So please don't think that True Buddha Foundation changed the sadhanas. Usually, when they are about to release the sadhanas of the practice procedures, they will invite Grandmaster, they will consult Grandmaster and ask him to look at it before it is released to the public. So for consistency, the mantra was changed to Om Mani Padme Hum. Number 2 is Om Ahum and Rang Yang Kang. And at the end of the sadhana, Om Abuladi Bubaya Soha. If you wish to hear Grandmaster recite this, you can go to the True Buddhist School Administrative Network website. If you don't know what that is, you can ask Dharma propagators or people Dharma personnel from cultivation venues, and there will be audio recordings of Grandmaster's pronunciation of these three mantras. And you can also use this online platform to request an empowerment for Grandmaster's remote empowerment, which is very convenient because you don't have to worry that your letter goes missing in the mail, etc. And after you receive empowerment, so when you apply through this system, the process is exactly the same because your request for remote empowerment will be printed out. They will place it on Grandmaster's table for Grandmaster's blessing. So they will not treat it lightly because there is karma involved. And so they will definitely supplicate Grandmaster's blessing. So there will be remote empowerment. Regarding the practice times, when Grandmaster first transmitted this Dharma, including the class materials, that handouts that you will receive, when making offerings to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, the time is 5 to 9 a.m. in the morning. And if you're making offerings to karmic creditors, it will be 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. in the evening. However, many disciples have given feedback to Grandmaster that due to various circumstances, they're not able to practice during those times. And as far as I know, Grandmaster has changed it 3 times. So he changed from 5 to 12 for both. And then more disciples gave feedback they were still not able to practice. So Grandmaster changed it to 12 to 12 for both for the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and then 12 to 12 for karmic creditors. And I thought that this was the last final decision. I didn't expect that in 2024, somebody else once again asked about this, and Grandmaster compassionately changed the timing to, if you want to offer to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, it's 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. noon. And from 12 p.m. noon to 6 a.m. the following day, you can make offerings to your karmic creditors. This is the final change, or the last change. You need to understand that Kriya Tantra, all their practice procedures, only our Guru can change, who has made these changes out of his compassion for sentient beings, which allows us to have the time to practice these. At one point, it became so serious that disciples asked if I practice it at 11:59, and 1 minute later it's 12 noon. Can I still practice? Grandmaster said that the moment you light the smoke offering, it's still within that time, then it's okay. That was Grandmaster's response at that point in time. If you light it at 11:59 and the time change switches at the next minute, does it still count? And Grandmaster said yes. So it's not that the whole process of the smoke offering sadhana has to take place within that time frame, but the moment that you ignite the smoke offering powder has to be within the time frame. And so this is forearmed Avalokiteshvara on the left, and then the Lotus Mudra in the center, and then the Garuda Mudra on the right. So I'll not go into the beginning sequence of the practice, but let's go into the main sequence of the practice. So this part would involve visualizing emptiness, reciting the emptiness mantra, visualize a great ocean with a vast expanse of cloudless sky above. The mundus rises up from the ocean, and there's a white say syllable inside. The say syllable radiates great white light, and the say seed syllable revolves and transforms into four-armed Avalokiteshvara. You can also optionally add the three light blessing. Someone asked Grandmaster, how come this part doesn't start from visualizing the bang C syllable and then visualize the lotus, the bang syllable transforms to syllable, the lotus, which transforms to the syllable, and then the mundus, and then your idam's seed syllable, which transforms into the idam. So Grandmaster's response to the disciple at that point in time is because this is the Kriya Tantra visualization. Currently, this visualization taught is the Charya Tantra visualization taught by Master Tupten Darati. So what does this mean? It means that although this is Kriya Tantra, but because the lineage guru knows what is the key point, he is directly teaching us the key point of practice. Even though this is Charya Tantra, or it can still be counted as the Kriya Tantra. So Grandmaster has taught us the most simple way of practice. And after doing this, in the smoke offering sadhana, it doesn't explicitly say the three light blessing visualization, but in the Charya Tantra, after you merge freedom, you are already pure. However, if you wish to do the three light blessing for purification, you can still add that in. Then visualize there is a blue home from your heart chakra flying out and transforming into a hook. If you just read the description directly, you think that the home seed syllable flies out from your heart chakra or heart region. However, what does it really mean? It means that the blue home, when it goes out, it has to go out through your central channel. So it flies out from your heart chakra through your central channel and flies out and upward and out to transform into a hook. So when you read words such as it flies out from your heart, you need to I don't know whether in the future there will be seed syllables, whether there'll be dharmas that express flying out from your brow point or your throat chakra, but in general, when the seed syllables fly out from your heart, it's flying out from your heart through the central channel, and then it transforms and here it transforms into a hook. Hooks onto the cloud or the lotus of the deity. So here it's the lotus of the four-armed Avalokiteshvara. Then you hook the Avalokiteshvara to the crown, to the top of your head, and then enters your heart chakra lotus. So when you practice the smoke offering sadhana, you need to have a solid foundation in the preliminaries. And although it's not explicitly mentioned or stated in the sadhana, you need to know how to visualize correctly. If maybe in the future the Dharma Affairs Department might refine this text description. So once the Avalokiteshvara enters your heart chakra lotus, the small Avalokiteshvara gradually becomes larger and then you merge and then transform two into one. And then you do the step 7 is to perform the smoke offering and do visualization. Om Ah Hum 21 times, and then Rang Yang Kang 21 times. So when you're doing the visualization, keep moving the mudra of the smoke mudra. So how do we recite the Om Ah Hum? You can recite it first and then do the visualization. Here it explains when you are reciting Om, if you are able to multitask, you recite Om. It means that it is transforming to as large as the universe. When you recite Ah, it's purification of all the offerings. Home is to increase the Dharma flavor of the offerings. And so you need to understand that if the clothing that you visualize, maybe they don't like it. They are from the Ming Dynasty. They don't like modern day clothing. So when you recite Om Ah Home, it will transform to something that your karmic creditors like, the kind of stuff that they like. Home. Um, so when you're reciting Om Ah Home and you are able to be mindful, you will recite it slowly. If you don't know the visualization, you recite it very fast and you will not understand its meaning. So remember the meaning of these syllables. Om, it becomes as large as the universe. Ah, a purification of the offerings. Home, increasing or enhancing its Dharma flavor. If you recite with your mouth and you visualize with your mind at the same time, you will do it slowly. So combine, you can integrate your mantra with visualization. And people will also feel your sincerity. After 21 times of Om Ah Home, then you recite Rang Yang Kang. Rang is fire, being ignited. Yang is wind. It transforms into smoke and becomes wind, and the wind blows away all the smoke. And Kang is to fill the entire universe or the cosmos. So the fire transforms all the offerings into smoke, and Kang fills the entire universe so that they can receive the offerings. So in your mind, try to integrate the visualization with your mantra. And your mudra is constantly forming the movements, and as you are doing the transformation of the offerings. So how did Grandmaster teach this at previously? First, you visualize your Dharma implement or vessel. Actually, it's missing a line here, which is to first visualize your implement or container becoming as large as the universe, and then smoke comes from it, and then the smoke transforms into various kinds of exquisite offerings. For instance, very exquisite clothing, gourmet cuisines. So what I recommend, based from my experience past, you can remember the four categories: 衣食住行, which refers to clothing, food, accommodation, and transportation. So even baby spirits or water spirits, baby spirits are also karmic creditors. So you can visualize female clothes, male clothes, baby clothes.
我跟他说：“你这样吧，哦，每次我们讲到一的时候啊，你赶快把那个衣服的图片找出来。他真的回去有
There
做
was a
哦。
Dharma sibling who had trouble visualization. So what happened was that person actually compiled all the images of clothing, compiled many images of food, and then he or she had this big book. And then during the smoke offering session, he would take out this big book of images, and then when visualizing clothing, she would refer to all the images of the clothing, and then when trying to visualize accommodation, she would flip to the page of all the houses and to then all the various categories of offerings, and eventually she said she was actually able to visualize So you can use this as a reference to help your spiritual cultivation. So you can visualize appetizers, Eastern Oriental cuisines or Western cuisines. You can visualize all kinds of varieties of food, soup, ice cream, dessert, everything that you like. And you need to know that the target audience could be male, female, even children. And what about accommodation? You can think of mansions, the houses that the dream homes. You also need to visualize the houses with complete with furniture. It shouldn't just be empty houses, but it should have, all the state-of-the-art facilities, all kinds of electronic equipment, televisions, laundry machines, um, everything, entertainment rooms, everything, wardrobes, the bedroom. So it's houses complete with all the furniture. People don't take rockets nowadays, but you can visualize, don't usually take rockets, but you can visualize scooters or cars. We have scooters now in our modern age, but in those times, in ancient times, they didn't have these things. Another thing about transportation, you can visualize lotus blossoms. Maybe your comic characters don't actually want to be in the human realm. They want to go to the Pure Lands. So you can visualize lotus blossoms. So don't worry about whether they can really receive it because four-armed Avalokiteshvara will help to transform it into something that they can use. So you need to pray to four-armed Avalokiteshvara, also to remove their sicknesses and physical ailments because a lot of them have bring are sick or injured. And how did this happen? Because they because it's due to your what you did. So usually because it's the online class, it's not really appropriate for me to share too much of my own personal responses, but I will share one particular instance. In the past, my eyes would hurt at least once a month. It would hurt at least once a month. But when I practiced the smoke offering sadhana, then I realized what was the cause because I saw personally the reason for why the reason why my eyes hurt. I in a dream, some people might say it's a dream. Why? Maybe it's hallucination, but after this dream, I did not. My eyes stopped hurting after the dream. So in that dream, I was a Japanese, and some sort of high-ranking military official, and there was a person in front of me with their hands tied behind the back, and that person looked at me with eyes of hatred. And in that dream, because I knew I was Japanese because somebody was speaking Japanese to me beside me, and in the dream, I was very unhappy with that hostile look from the person, and I used a needle, something sharp, to poke the eyes of that person. And but then I suddenly transformed into myself, and then I was taken aback or shocked by how cruel or ruthless I was, and I started to cry. And at that point in time, it was very strange. I could understand the Japanese, somebody else was speaking to me, but I felt very sorry, and I untied the hands. And because the eyes were bleeding, I used my hands to cover the eyes of that person. And when that person opened his or her eyes, the
然
eyes
后睡醒的时
transformed back
候，
to normal,
我
and
就
that
想，
person flew into the sky.
原来我做了这么
And when I
这么个
awoke,
事啊，
I
然后他
realized
可以恨
this
到
is
我恨到这个
why
程度啊，
this is the
就
cause of that
是藏
hatred.
在，
And this person,
哎，我平复一下我的情绪啊，突然间想起那个梦境，所以那时候，
so at that
哎，
time,
然后我才发现这个烟供法真的是有感应的哦。
I
那我个
realized
人
that the
经验
smoke
就是这样，
offering
可是我
can
没有
really
想
have
到做了这个
an
梦之后
effect.
啊，我发现
And
那个眼痛的问题就消失了，
the
就是
problem
说
of my
没有
eyes
每个月
hurting
再痛一次。
had
所以那时候我做的烟供
stopped
法，我就
after
开
the
始
dream.
加上这个观修，
And I
观
started to add
求四谛
this
观世菩萨，让这
visualization
一
or
些
prayer
有
in the smoke
有
offering
病痛的
practice
哦，就是我们造
to
成的啦哦。我请
because
求
all
我的
these
那
karmic
个观世
creditors
菩
were
萨
hurt
帮
because of
助
what
让
we
他们
did in
可以
our
恢
past
复复
lives.
原。当
So
然
we pray
会
to
祈求，
for
至
the
于身体这
Avalokiteshvara
些
to
的话，
remove their
我请求消除他们的病
injuries
痛，
or their
这是第一
ailments,
个。第二个
their
是消
sicknesses,
除恢复他们的残障的部分哦，就是
if they are
四体
crippled,
如来，请
to
求
restore their
恢复他
body,
们
their
残障的
full
部分，
form.
手啊脚
We
啊。
pray
你要
to
知道，可能过去
Surupa
是我们太
Kaya
残暴了哦，
Tathagata.
人家明明是没有事情的，我们把他们手脚砍
So
断
you
了这
need to
些，
understand
这
that
些
in
都是
past
对我们
lives
未来的冤情债主，我们
could
不懂。
have
所以
been
我
very
就
cruel
也
and
想
ruthless
把
to
这些
have
残
hurt
障的
all
部
these
分
sentient beings.
跟
And
他
therefore, they have
就
engendered
是
such
祈求四
great,
谛观
deep
世菩萨做
hatred.
主哦，让他们也能恢
So
复。
we pray to
我觉得不管
for
是不是有这个
Avalokiteshvara.
现象，我觉得这个是一个心意啦，这应该可以把它放进去了。然后
So this intention,
第三个是什么？一
you
是
can
苏醒完
put
之
it
后，
into
第一
your
是病
Sadhana.
痛，第二是残缺的部分，第三个知道
So
什
to
么吗？
remove their
千万不要遗
sicknesses,
漏这部分。
help them to
你用
become
最简单的方法，观
replete in
想
their
莲花，
faculties. So they are,
帮
if
他
they
们
were
去世
handicapped or
的。
crippled,
他
make
们要不要
sure
离
they
开也
their
是他们的
full
事，可是你
form
提
is
供这个
restored.
机会
And
给
the
他们。
last part is that
哦，你提供
you
这个机会，请
can
求四谛观
pray
世
for
菩
their
萨
bardo
用
deliverance
这种
by
借由超度的
Avalokiteshvara,
力量把他们超度。一般
that
冤
they
亲
can
债
be
主
bardo
他们
delivered.
跟你这
So
样
a
去
lot
做
of
事啊，一
karmic
般就是不愿
creditors
意哦，他是
usually
不愿意
they
的，可
will
是你
are
却要
unwilling
理
to
会这个，
go
你超度他
because
们。
of your enmity.
然后第
But
四个，
regardless, you have
这
this
个是
intent.
我的
Generate
心
this
意
intent
哦，我
that
要
they
强
can
调
also
哦，
receive
你们要
deliverance.
模仿是你们的事，可是这是我在修验功法的时候产
And
生的
in
一
my
种
own
体
personal
悟，
practice
我的
of the
体悟
Sadhana,
哦。
my
我那时候是这样告诉自己的，
this
我
is
就
how I
把自己最
practice.
讨厌的人全部想
I
完，
would visualize the
然后
people
我
that
跟
I
自己
dislike the
说，我
most,
原谅你了。
and then I would tell
你知道
them
我为
I
什么
would
要做
forgive
这个
you.
举动吗？
Do you know why I did
我
this?
把我最不喜欢的人想
When
出来，
I
伤
visualize the
害过我的
people
人想
that
出来，
I
然
dislike
后
the
我自
most, the
己在
people
心
who
目
have
中
hurt
跟自己
me,
说，
and
我
in my
原谅
heart,
你
in
了。
my mind, I say,
这个是与神做
I
事的，
forgive you.
做
This
给这些
is
冤亲债主看。你自己都不肯原谅，
this
你
is
才
being
是这些怨恨的人啊！你哪里好意思叫你的
providing a
冤
living
亲债主原
example.
谅你啊？
Because
对不
if you're
对？
not able to
自己
forgive
要
your
先
own
做出来
enemies,
啊！
then how
你要
can you
先做
expect
出
your
这个
karmic creditors to
这
forgive
个
you?
心态来，
So
你的
first of
冤
all,
亲
you
债主才
have
知
to be
道
able to
你
forgive
做
your
错
own
了。
karmic creditors'
你不要
enemies.
忘记，我们的这个修行者的念头啊，是可以
So
影响到无形的。
don't
因
forget that
为
as practitioners,
你
your
知道为什
mind,
么这些鬼神
your
都可以影
intents
响
can
到
actually
他们普
influence
通
the
人呢？
invisible
他
realm.
们都是
Do you
用
know
他们的
why
意念啊来
spirits
影
can
响你的。
influence
你的哎呦，
people
那
in
里
the
的不太
physical
好
realm?
的，会
Because
不会有鬼啊？
they are able
然后
to use
刚好有
their
鬼在那里的话，他看到
intent.
你这个念头，他知道你害怕，他
For
就发出声
instance,
音，
if
呜，然后你就会的，咦，我好像听到了。很多时候都是他
for
们用
instance,
意念来影响你的意念。可是假如
if
你
you
的
are
意
afraid of
念是
ghosts
去
and you have
猜
this
想，
thought,
你
then
会影响他
it
的。
so happens that
甚
there's a
至以前有
spirit
教过我们啊，
being
你记
near
得吗？
you who
某某我不要讲
sees your
那边
thought,
那个
then
人的
that
名字
spirit
了，
being might cause
是
mischief
那个
by
人跟师傅
responding
讲，
to your
他每次
fear
修法的时候都看
and
到这
causing
个
you to become
某
more
某人的
frightened.
形
So
象出来。他讲很怕啊，因为对方是养鬼了，但是很怕啊，他不敢修啊。师傅讲很
so
简单
spirit
啊，
beings
你突然
can
想要头
influence
掉下来，
people
当你
by
求替，
by
把那个鬼
through their right intent. So somebody was afraid of ghosts, and Grandmaster taught him a simple sadhana, which is to visualize the ghost's head falling off, and then you kick the head around like a soccer ball. and was eventually able to overcome that fear. So you need to have faith in Tantric Buddhism. Don't think that you have insufficient power because you are praying to four-armed Avalokiteshvara. At the end, recite Om Apulati Pubaya Soha and recite once and snap your fingers once. Some people say, when I snap my fingers, there's no sound. Then how? Then visualize it. If even grandmaster said if you have no fingers, you can visualize your fingers. So when you snap your fingers and there's no sound, visualize the sound or imagine the sound. Recite the mantra once and snap your fingers once and do this 7 times. After 7 times of this, then you can decide whether or not you want to enter samadhi. Why? Because karma sadhanas are not yidam yoga, so you can decide based on your own personal inclination whether you want to enter samadhi or not. So for the practice of smoke offering and the entering samadhi is very short. Because for Homa, during the process of the Homa burning, you are already merging with the main deity of the Homa during the process of the Homa itself. So there sometimes isn't an extra segment of entering Samadhi. Then after that, number 9 is to recite the mantras of the 8 principal Yidam deities. And then step 11, merit dedication. If you're offering to Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, read the part in yellow. If you're reciting to karmic creditors, read the part in blue. When you're offering to Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, there is sandalwood powder, which is easy to ignite, and because for offerings to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, you should use sandalwood powder of a better quality. You can use agarwood powder as well, as long as it's of a good quality. For karmic creditors, the powder will be burned outdoors, so it's okay. But because the offering is carried out outside, but if you're making offerings to Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, it's done indoors, so you should use better quality sandalwood powder. So otherwise, you would be very affected by the smoke. So if you want to use better quality sandalwood powder for karmic creditors, it's also okay. I will not stop you. But you can also visualize 衣食住行, which is clothing, food, accommodation, transportation. Don't think Buddhas, Bodhisattvas don't take planes, they don't take cars and stuff. But when you recite Om Ahom, it has the power of transformation. In this lesson, I haven't mentioned a lot, but it's not as the transformation of offerings to Buddhas Bodhisattvas is not as complicated as that to karmic creditors, because you don't have to include the part about letting go of enmity or hatred, or you don't have to visualize the karmic creditors being restored to their full bodily form, becoming healed, or where their sickness or injuries are removed. So you can also do this merit dedication using your own words. You don't have to recite it using classical Chinese or using these specific words, or you can rephrase the same meaning in your own words. For karmic creditors, the merit dedication includes offerings to dragon kings and divas, etc. But actually, in Troubadour school, our sadhana mainly revolves around offerings to karmic creditors. And if you're using your own words, you can say something like, I hope that you will receive Dharma joy and satisfaction in clothing, food, transportation, accommodation. I know that you don't wish to go into cyclic transmigration due to wanting to um, out of revenge. You want to there is hatred towards me. I hope that my practice of the smoke offering sadhana can help you to unravel the karmic enmity. I hope that your bodies can be restored to full form and you know, healthy, happy, and but this is just a reference. Please don't imitate it immediately because maybe some of you might become shocked, perhaps. But it's because of my own personal experience and I understand how my karmic creditors came about. So I can say such things. So if you feel afraid to say these, then don't say it. So these are my thoughts and my insights from doing this practice. If I said something like, if you hate me to the point that you wish me death, in order to calm your enmity, I said you can. However, after your enmity is resolved, you still need to go through cyclic transmigration. And wouldn't you still need to go on the path of spiritual cultivation? And if you want to go on the path of spiritual cultivation, then it means you need to also learn to forgive other people. And if you eventually will go on the path of spiritual cultivation, then why don't you first start with me and let go of your hatred and forgive me? So this is a little shameless, but at that point in time, it was half shameless and half sincerity. It was, I said, because because at that point I knew that because I know how to carry out the smoke offering sadhana, I know how to help you increase your merit blessings and attain the body of a human in the next life and increase your affinity with the Buddhism or with the Buddhas. Wouldn't that be good? So, better than wishing me death. So, because at that point in time when I saw my own karmic creditors, I realized that I had no right to ask them to leave because I had caused them such pain and anguish. Um, Usually, when people start their practice, they might have the thoughts of, I've already made offering to you, quickly leave, leave me alone. But if you really understand, um, if somebody hates you to the point that they are not willing to go into cyclic transmigration, you need to know that there is a cause for the extent of that enmity. Um, there's a great cause or justification for it. So TBF has released notices pertaining to the smoke offering Sadhana. So in 2016, Grandmaster released a statement saying that the group cultivation So in the TBF notice, it says that you cannot practice smoke offering sadhanas in the cultivation venue. So some of the key points are the main deity of the smoke offering is the four-armed Avalokiteshvara, and you cannot practice it in cemeteries or graveyards unless, please don't try to prove that you are of a high level spiritual cultivation level and practice it in a cemetery or graveyard. So in 2008, this was before the notice came out. So I hadn't broken any rules because that notice wasn't out yet. So if the smoke offering sadhana cannot be carried out in a cultivation venue, then it cannot be carried. Then even more, it cannot be carried out as a Dharma ceremony. So if So don't worry about using the same smoke offering incense burner for both Buddha's bodhisattvas as well as karmic creditors. So if you use a smoke offering censer for Buddha's bodhisattvas, you can use the same one for karmic creditors. If it's a problem for you, you can use the Sabrani carp that I mentioned earlier that's used by Indians in their pujas. The whole thing will just be combustible. Because the Buddha's bodhisattvas and karmic riders are receiving the offering of the smoke, they are not receiving the offering of the vessel, so it's okay to use the same vessel. If you wish to add other implements such as the 5 offerings of flowers, incense, tea, fruit, etc., lamps, lights at your altar, it's also okay. But it's additional or optional because the main offering itself is the smoke from your smoke offering. So you don't have to worry about having to put a lot of joss paper, a lot of paper lotuses at your altars. However, if you wish to, no one will fault you for being very polite, for sincerity or reverence in wanting to add on all these other offerings, but that's not the main point. So just be mindful of that. And if your smoke offering powder cannot be burned, you can use easily combustible incense to help it become lit. Unless you bring the smoke offering to outdoors and you can still see that it's burning or not. My grandmaster said that if the smoke stops in the middle of your practice, don't worry about it. Don't be affected. Just finish your sadhana and then continue and complete your practice. So if you're next to your smoke offering or it's within sight, you can actually add on the incense sticks to help it continue burning. But if you're not able to see it and it stops, it's still okay. Just finish your sadhana. And this is similar. And number 9 is similar to what I mentioned about the fabrics of the 5 colors, which is that you can find small images of clothing, cars, houses, etc. So they are symbolic of the items that you're offering, and put these images right at the very bottom of the sandalwood powder, and then the smoke offering is on top. So it's similar to the cloth of the 5 colors. So you need to do fourfold boundary protection or sprinkling purification, boundary protection of the area. But you also need to do armor protection of your own body. So if you are worried about the efficacy of your practice, you can recite the 100-syllable mantra to make up for any errors or omissions. So this is how Grandmaster comforted disciples regarding the practice. So before the smoke offering sadhana, you don't have to recite four-arm Avalokiteshvara's heart mantra 100,000 times. remember in Hidam Yoga, we learn about devotion service or devotional service. You need to recite mantra 100,000 times before you can begin the practice. So when I first received the empowerment for this practice, at that time, Rainbow Temple still had these retreat houses, and I actually applied to do a retreat in the retreat house and recited the mantra 100,000 times. And after, for a few days, and then after I finished the 100,000 times of mantra, then I started this practice. So, but after I came out from retreat, Grandmaster had already said that it was okay not to have to recite it 100,000 times. And the reason he said that is because the people have a lot of obstacles, but for instance, people do have merit, but because of their karmic creditors, they encounter a lot of obstacles. So Grandmaster transmitted this smoke offering sadhana to help people dispel the obstacles so that they can increase their merit and blessings. If you wait till you recite 100,000 times a mantra before you begin the smoke offering, then we don't know when you actually have the chance to do this smoke offering sadhana. So maybe you have great samadhi, meditative stability power. So the karmic creditor is not able to affect you directly, but they can affect those around you, such as your boss, your family or relatives, who may not be able to practice. And maybe these people around you might have their own karmic creditors, and who knows, they might conspire with each other. So if the people around you are not well, then that also indirectly influences or affects you. So when you do the smoke offering sadhana and you dedicate merit to all these beings, uh, you it's also you can also practice the smoke offering sadhana and dedicate merit to your family, the karmic creditors of your family members, including your spouse, your children, your own parents, and so on. So if you all live in the same space, all the karmic creditors can receive the offering at the same time. You don't have to separate out into one smoke offering vessel for each single family member. You can just use one single vessel. And remember what I mentioned earlier about praying for your karmic creditors to be in good health, and if they are lacking in any of their faculties, for their bodies to be fully restored. And you can also use the method of burning paper lotuses or paper dharma vessels into ash, and then using that ash, putting it with mixing it with the smoke offering powder. You can mix it with the part of the smoke offering powder that is not so easily combustible. So it will not affect the combustibility of the smoke offering powder. You'll be able to gauge how it can burn. So baby spirits, aborted fetuses, or baby spirits from miscarriages, they are also a kind of karmic creditors. They also fall in the category of karmic creditors, and a lot of people, some people might not know that they will affect both the male as well as the female, not just the mother, but also the father. If you are making offerings to karmic creditors, it needs to be carried outdoors, maybe in your yard, your balcony, or facing the window. So don't do the smoke offering to karmic creditors in the room that you're sleeping in or at your own altar. If you live in a high-rise apartment, you need to take precaution or be cautious, because if you live in a high-rise apartment, if the wind is very strong, it might be a fire hazard. So please be careful. Please be very careful. And 17 is similar to 16.16. It emphasizes if you are making offerings to karmic creditors and you place the offering outdoors in your balcony or yard, you can continue your cultivation of the Sadhana at your own altar. Or if you want to continue facing your balcony or yard and practice the smoke offering, you can. However, if you're making offering to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, then do not place the smoke offering censer outside. You need to place the smoke offering censer or burner indoors at your own altar. And forearmed Avalokiteshvara is the main deity who will help to protect your boundary, your premises. So even though Grandmaster has mentioned the point about if you're able to invoke forearmed Avalokiteshvara to descend, then Avalokiteshvara will do the boundary protection for you, but in addition to that, you can still do your boundary protection. So as mentioned just now, point number 19, use good quality incense powder to offer to the Buddhas Bodhisattvas. You can use ordinary incense powder as offering to your karmic creditors. And number 20, the merit dedication. You don't have to follow word by word the Sadhana. The text, the words in the Sadhana regarding the merit dedication part, you can use your own words to convey similar meaning or convey your meaning. Number 21, you cannot use the smoke offering to keep ghosts. You cannot use the smoke offering to make offerings to ghosts in the wilderness. And you cannot use the smoke offering to make offerings to vicious ghosts. So somebody asked Grandmaster, if I don't practice the smoke offering, but I have the smoke offering powder, can I light it and just place it outdoors and as offerings to the ghosts in the wilderness? Grandmaster said, yes, you can. They will still come to receive the offering. So number 2, smoke offering cannot be used on ghosts in the wilderness. What is the difference? One is if you put the smoke offering censer outside with the smoke offering powder and you perform the smoke offering sadhana, then this is not allowed. This is prohibited. But if you just place the smoke offering outside, but you don't practice the sadhana, then it's still permissible because it's like you're throwing sugar outside to the ants. So so it's a little bit like the Ulaanbaatar festival burning of joss paper. You're not practicing any dharmas or sadhanas for the sake of ghosts in the wilderness, spirits in the wilderness. If you just place the smoke offering outside, it's still okay, but do not practice the smoke offering. So also do not practice the smoke offering in graveyards, cemeteries, in places in wilderness, because these will cause chaos in your own practice. It will be detrimental to your own practice. So please be mindful. And we go back to the questions at the beginning of the lesson. After making offerings to karmic creditors through the smoke offering, will they increase in number? And will it be even more difficult to cause them to leave? The answer is, even if you don't practice smoke offering, your karmic creditors are already around you, and they will not increase in number because of your practice. If they increase in number, then there is something wrong with your practice. For instance, if your karmic creditor is already in the Pure Land, and because of your smoke offering, they come down, they descend, or if they are urgently suffering in hell, and because of smoke offering they come, then there's something wrong. So the reason they are with you is because there is a karmic cause. There's a karmic connection. So if you are able to pull them from the six realms of cyclic existence, because of your power in cultivating the smoke offering sadhana, then this is a little extreme. That's a wrong perception or a wrong view. So have you considered? Okay, the question two is, are karmic creditors only in the physical realm, or are they only in the invisible realm? The answer is there are both kinds. Some karmic creditors are in the physical realm, and some are in the invisible realm. So, for instance, we know that there are people with um, families that are not very harmonious, or there are spouse or friends or colleagues or supervisors, or even animals, or your co-workers, or your even cancer cells. If baby spirits, aborted baby spirits, want to cause or those beings that we may have killed, they might transform into cancer cells to enact revenge. Or in one of Grandmaster's books, he mentioned that in the realms of hell, he saw very strange-looking meatballs, and after blessing, they all went into cyclic transmigration. And he asked the Lord of Hades, or Yamalot, where did they go? And the Lord replied that they have gone to cyclic transmigration to enact karmic revenge. And Grandmaster was very shocked. I wanted to help, but have I caused harm? And then the Lord Yama replied that they have those seeds of enmity or hatred. So forces in the invisible realm are spirit beings. So if you want to, you can look for this article and read it in greater detail. I'm just giving you a very summarized version of the story. Okay, thank you very much, Master Lian Lai, for your very exciting class and very rewarding, beneficial. And now let's invite the backend team to post the questions from last week's lesson. So someone asked, and let's invite Master Lin Lai to answer. The first question is, because oneself has too many secular activities or tasks, there are a lot of obstacles, and I'm not able to continuously practice Dharma, and even more, I'm not able to enter Samadhi. So may Master please respond. So this is something that was addressed during the last lesson. And how should I answer this? There is a sense of I want to lose weight, but I don't want to exercise. There is that feeling in this. This is a problem that's not encountered by this disciple alone. Before I became a monk, I had a lot of secular activities that prevented me from cultivation. And I had a feeling that I told myself that it must be because I don't have sufficient merit, and so I am not able to pursue the path of spiritual cultivation. So I tried to overcome this sense of not being able to cultivate. A lot of my homework, a lot of my spiritual cultivation homework was completed when I was doing secular activities or tasks. I would integrate my spiritual cultivation homework into my daily life. I used to do quality control, and when I was checking the item, I would recite Grandmaster's mantra. And something miraculous happened when the boss said that I was the best in quality control and 1,000 I said I thought to myself, I didn't do anything extra. I just followed the standard operating procedure, the SOP. But I was while I checked the items, while I was doing quality control in my work, I was just simply reciting Guru's mantra. And when I was a prison warden, I would visualize Grandmaster appearing above the head of each convict and recite mantra in my mind. And my supervisor said that I was very responsible. And he said that he noticed that I would look at the convicts, but actually I was in my mind doing my spiritual cultivation homework. And when I brought food to the convicts, I would also do my spiritual cultivation and recite the mantra, Guru's heart mantra, when I brought them food. So I was a prison warden for 10 years, and there was something strange that happened in my life. During my time in the prison, I only saw 5 fights. For my colleagues, every month they would see a fight. And I was very curious. I went to ask the people who fought. I would ask the convicts, "Do you fight?" Then they said that they fought, but because you are around, so we don't want to cause you trouble. So those 5 times when they fought, they they really could not help it. But when I went to stop them, they actually listened, they quietened down. And then in the previously I didn't know why, but they later on I realized that it was the power of magnetization. They were giving me face. At that time, I didn't have time to do spiritual cultivation. I integrated it into my daily life, into the secular activities I was doing. And in the prison, there were other events. They thought I couldn't control convicts, so they handed me the most difficult convict, because they wanted to make me lose face. And this was an Indian convict who didn't like Chinese. And at that point in time, I was very foolish and naive. And I was very scared. And I would visualize Grandmaster radiating light of all colors so that he would not be angry and not lose his temper. And whenever he was talking to me, I would just keep reciting Guru's mantra. Do you know what happened? One time, he cried. He was number 3 in the whole prison in terms of throwing feces, throwing urine, hitting prison wardens. He was that bad. And I asked him why did he cry, and then he said he looked at me and he just wanted to cry. And this is the power of Grandmaster transforming his heart. I had not done anything. So secular activities do not necessarily mean that they are obstacles, but it means that you need to put in even more diligence to try and find a way to overcome your obstacles. Imagine if you are a wealthy second generation and your altar becomes your altar comes very easily, you will not have a sense of accomplishment because you have not gone through the process of being able to accomplish something during your most difficult times and circumstances. When I was working, I lived in a rented house. I didn't have a house of my own, and there were other people. I couldn't do spiritual cultivation. Then what could I do? I during in the bathroom, I did spiritual cultivation. I would sit on the toilet and recite the purification of the Dharma realms mantra. I couldn't hog the bathroom for too long, so I had to memorize the whole sadhana. And I sat on the toilet bowl, imagine it, visualize it transforming to a lotus, and and I had a lot of spiritual responses from practicing on the toilet seat. I couldn't drag the practice. I had to be very efficient in my practice. And when after my roommate left, the landlord couldn't find, just very strangely could not find any tenant come, could not find any tenant to replace my roommate. And I thought to myself, okay, after I finish taking a bath and I'm clean, I can now come out and practice more easily. But I didn't have that same feeling anymore. So it's when the Buddha's Bodhisattvas see that you are putting in so much effort and you are practicing in the most adverse of circumstances, they will instead bless you even more. So sometimes we need to be creative in our situations. I don't think that samadhi is something that you learn only during your spiritual cultivation. In your process of reciting mantra, you can do it because meditative stability, how do you know you have stability? You need to know that when you recite mantra, what are you reciting? What is samadhi? You're not affected by external circumstances. When you are reciting mantra, for instance, in my work as a prison warden, I would hear people conversing behind me. They were all people moving around me. Um, so I'm reminded of many memories. When I took the bus to work, I would visualize everyone with a grandmaster Lu above their heads. You can think of ways to overcome your situation. So do not be affected by your secular activities. You must think that then um you must try to find a way to overcome and transcend. And this is how I became a
上
monk.
师精彩的解答。工作中都不忘的修行啊，非常赞叹上师。第二
Thank
个问
you,
题，请
Master
问上
Lin for
师，
your
无
sharing.
后法的
The
配
next
方
question,
可否用奶粉来代替牛奶呢？
in the preparation of the smoke offering, can we use milk powder to replace milk? Remember that both items are part of the ingredients and in terms of Kriya Tantra. So milk powder is already a part of um, milk powder. So you can't substitute milk powder for milk. So only Grandmaster would be able to change the ingredients. But Grandmaster has mentioned both the milk powder and milk as part of the smoke offering ingredients. So if you're afraid that the milk will affect the combustibility of the powder, then you can try the recommendation that I mentioned. Separate out the ingredients into the part that is more combustible and the part that's not so combustible so that you can control the proportion of the ingredients. You can put a little bit of the milk. You don't have to put a lot. It should be okay. Next question.
老宗师兄问，请问上师，如果遇到有会倒气
If
的鬼神众，我
someone,
们可
if
以
you
观想此
encounter
生
a
到底
ghost or
在此
spirit
让他们保
being
持吗？
that steals qi, can we visualize great compassion surrounding water to let them become full? If you're doing smoke offering sadhana, you shouldn't encounter this problem. If you encounter this problem, maybe you need to go for a spiritual consultation. I mean, this question, does that mean you know that the ghost or spirit is stealing your qi? Luckily, I saw that article from Grandmaster, who told the ghost that lived in his house, please don't steal the tea from my children. I will do a shishi fa to help you increase in merit and blessing so that you can depart from the bodily form of a ghost. But the ghost spirit did not agree or did not accept it, and Grandmaster had to use a forceful expulsion of the ghost. So this question is a little contradictory. I don't know.
好，谢谢上师。这样哦，好，谢
The
谢上师。
person
接下来，请问上师，刚刚上师所分享的这个印度的这个檀香碗呢，是不是
So
和
somebody else's next question
神
about
庙
the
建
Sambrani
那
cup.
里的甘文
Is
宴是
it
一样的呢？
like this Ganwen yen that is sold in ritual implement shops? I'm not really sure what Ganwen yen is, so maybe somebody needs to research
那接下
and
来
find out
再
what it is
请
so
问
that I
上师
can
愿供粉的材料
understand
要等牛奶干
this
掉，
question better.
或者可以放在太阳下来晒干吗？
The next question regarding the preparation of the smoke offering, does that mean that we need to let the milk dry and place it under the sun to dry? Nowadays, as the air fryer, you don't turn the air fryer too high because it might
谢谢上师的解
cook
答。
the milk. It
下
just
一
needs to be
莲
dry.
花明海问
The
的阿
next
弥陀
question,
佛，有部分
Amitabha,
消烟供的说不
some
能
people who
加，例如
practice smoke
藏红花，
offering
但可
say
以
you
加丁
cannot
叶、
add
甘露丸和
um
松香，
藏
也有
红
说可以
花
加上小金箔片的。请问上师，有
or
类似
certain
的说法
items
和
like the
做
nectar
法吗？
pills, etc. Some say you can even add little bits of gold foil. Um, the master replies that luckily Grandmaster has not said what we cannot put, so you can put it in. If Grandmaster has said that If Grandmaster has not said that you can't add them in, then you don't need to worry about the question, and you can just add them.
谢谢上师。谢谢上师。接下来莲花少女师姐问的，请问上师，我在西雅
Next
图的时
question.
候呢，看到有
In
人
Seattle, I
灯
saw that
塔
some people
有三
use
种
the
颜
smoke
色，有红、蓝、
towers,
绿及
and
香
there
的
are
粉色。
3
我
colors.
看
There
到的
is
时间是
red,
下午，他拿着
blue,
去烧，我
green,
看到很好奇，我
and
就问，
smoke.
请问你
And
为
it
什
was
么
the time was in the
好几种
afternoon. I
颜色
asked
的香
them
台一起烧
why
呢？
they went
他
to
说不能
burn.
讲。我想这个时间
Um,
一定是供冤亲债主的，可
and
是
I
我不明
asked
白烧几种颜色的香台一起烧。我想问上
why
师，
they
请上师
burn
解释
smoke
为什么有
offering
烧几种颜色的香
towers
台一起
of
烧，那
different
是什么
colors
意
at
思呢？
together. And I
请问
thought
上师，
if it's burned at this time, they must be making an offering to common creditors. So I want to ask the master why they are doing this. What is the meaning? Um, so master replies, I also don't know why. We don't have to care about how other people practice. In Tribal School, a lot of people invent things, but we shouldn't be affected. Just follow what Grandmaster teaches and use the Kriya Tantra procedure taught by Grandmaster. If they want to practice in a particular way and they attain yogic union or spiritual
谢谢上师
response
的
and
解答。
congrats, but you
接
don't
下
have to
来
worry
老
or
公
think
师兄
about
问
how
请
they
问一下，
practice.
房子可以
Just
观想是什么 Starfleet 的星舰里面的船员宿舍吗？
可以，你要变什么都可以，因为有一个 Oma Home 就会变成他们喜欢的啊。假如老人家晕船的话，他说我不要这种，他会变成他喜欢的啊。
Somebody asked the question whether for accommodation you can imagine or visualize the crew quarters in the Starfleet or in spaceships. As long as you recite the mantras correctly, four-armed Avalokiteshvara will help to
请问
transform
上师
the
对烟
offerings into
供粉
whatever
如果
your
是
karmic
由
creditors
姐姐
want.
去修的，
Next question. If somebody doesn't feel confident to practice a smoke offering sadhana, are there other methods for repentance to our karmic creditors and also to Bardo deliver them? Before Grandmaster taught the smoke offering sadhana in 1998, he taught a practice called 迷供法师光观. And Grandmaster was the main deity of this practice. It's a kind of rice offering sadhana. And there is and using the medium of rice, you bestow offering. So you need to receive empowerment for this practice, and it is also a method of clearing hindrances from karmic creditors. I feel that the smoke offering sadhana at least has the part where we put our hearts into it has the added component of us putting our minds or hearts into it. But if you're worried, you can just use the rice offering method. Next question is about if the smoke offering is outside the house, how do we do boundary protection? Maybe you have misconception. If you're not within your own room, within your own house, outside of your house, and you are doing the fourfold boundary protection, you can designate the area of your boundary protection. But if you are doing it in your house or at your altar, then you don't need to. From the perspective of this question, it sounds like you are going outside of your house and you're practicing outside of your house. But if you are placing the smoke offering outside and then going back indoors to practice, then you don't need to do additional boundary protection. But in general, boundary protection is there is a fixed and there is a flexible version. So if you boundary protect your room or house, after you leave your house, the boundary protection will remain with the house. So this is fixed. Boundary protection, if it's armor protection, it will move. So it follows you wherever you are. So other forms of this flexible or movement-based armor protection, there is the Avalokiteshvara, Body Shrine Disaster Averting Sadhana. The other forms of fixed boundary protection will be like Kala Chakras, shield practice, or Great Compassion Dharani, sprinkling purification. For Great Compassion Dharani, sprinkling purification, you need to have a demarcated space. But for Vajra, bell, and scepter boundary protection, you don't have to go outside. You can just do the purification in your own space. And it doesn't have to be very immense. I hope that the person is asking from this perspective.
请问上师可以买市面上现成的烟供粉吗？有的烟供粉含有除障的部
The
分。
next question is about can we buy ready-made smoke offering powder? Some smoke offering powder include ingredients that are about removing karmic hindrances. Are they suitable for karmic creditors? If you think about using the Great Compassion Dharani water to do sprinkling purification, when you do this boundary protection, will your earth deity be chased out of your house? So only, but if you have the mind of trying to dispel those who obstruct you in your practice or cause hindrances, um, then they will be chased out. So it depends on your mind. If you're the smoke offering, the smoke offering powder.
你
If you have the thought of if you have the thought of protecting your premises when you're doing the Great Compassion Dharani sprinkling, then it will not affect them. They will still be around. But if you have the thought of how come you never helped me to win the lottery and you never helped me in my practice, then your earth deity might actually be chased away by your thoughts. So if Kriya Tantra doesn't mention it, then don't invent certain things or steps.
我们今天的问题非常的踊跃哦。接下来，请问上师，
The next question, if we place the smoke offering censer outdoors, do we need to specially make a stand for it, or can we just put it on the air conditioning unit outdoors, outside the window? If you live in a high-rise apartment and the wind is very strong, then you need to be very careful. If the wind is very strong, even the smoke offering vessel might be blown away, and then it could become a case of high-rise litter. So you need to be very mindful. If it's like if you live in a house, and you put it outside your window, of course you can put it on the sand. There is a prerequisite condition that it should not pose a safety hazard to other people. So please be mindful of the rules and regulations in the human realm. From the 20th floor or the 30th floor, I would not recommend you to do this because your smoke offering vessel might be blown away.
谢谢上师的解答，也要注意安全性。那请问接下来还有吗？
这个是印尼
The
文的。
next question.
是，请问上师烟供法是否能解决
Can the
被
smoke
下降
offering
丑的情况
Sadhana
呢？
help
烟供法
to
算不算是
clear
还债给那些恶鬼，
black magic?
或者是说修烟供法
Is
会不
it
会引起他的
considered
魂
as
魄
a
过来，
way
或者我们
of
修好
karmic
了之后
repayment
能够
to
解
vicious
决这个
ghosts?
问题呢？
Or will it cause other spirit beings to
发现
come?
同门都很有创意啊，这些问题我从来没有想过的。
Or
烟
when
供
we
法是不是可以解下降
recite,
头的情况？
or when we practice
这个我真
Sadhana
的
and
不知
recite
道哎。
mantras
你们可以做试验
can
啊，
also resolve the issue.
这个我不
I
知
do
道。
not know
因为我不敢
whether
说可以
you
的话，一
see
定
that
可以做成功
fellow
怎么办？
disciples are
我
very
没有试
creative. I've
过。
never thought of
烟
these
供法算
questions.
不算还债
Can
给
the
那些
smoke
恶鬼？
offering Sadhana
我希望他
remove
还
black
要以
magic?
更
I
光
don't
明的
know.
领
I've
导
never
你，
tried it.
他们要变成恶鬼也是你的原因啊，就是你
The
伤害
question
过
too
他
about karmic
他以前
repayment,
是
if they are
跟
vicious
你
ghosts,
是同等
they
情商，
they
他没有
have
办法
a
欺负你，
karmic
现在变成
connection.
鬼，他可以欺负你啊，所以
It's
算
it's
不算
also
还
due to
债？我
karmic
觉得跟这
connection.
个灾来
I think
定义
maybe
应
we
该
shouldn't
平常
use
啦，
the
因为我们欠
uh,
他们的。
collection of
债不是这个
repayment
钱
of
财
debt.
的问题，是在
It's not a
那
matter
个
of money, but we
那
owe
个
them
人家没有痛
something.
苦，我们把痛苦
Originally,
给别人，
they
人
didn't
家所以
suffer,
他
but
才会
we
想办法
brought them
把这些
suffering,
痛苦还给我
and
们。
thus they are using
所
suffering
以，假如
to
你是修烟供
they
法得法的
they
话，
are
你的冤亲债主的确会得到你的
retaliating
这个
by
痛
causing a
苦，
suffering in
而
turn.
选择离开或者选择继续付
When
出
they
啊。
receive
因为我
offering,
有
they
个
can
感应，就是
choose to
这样的故事
leave
的哦。
or
在
they
网络大
can
学，在网上
be
不能讲感应，
transformed
这我不讲。
into
修
supporting
烟
you
供
in your
法会不会
practice.
引起他有你
When
过来？不
you
会，
do the
因为
smoke
你有做
offering,
结
will
界
you
你有做
cause
结界，
other spirit beings to
或者我
come?
们修法
No,
的指导
because
人
you
解
do
决
boundary
问题，
protection. Or the fourth part, when we practice sadhana and recite mantras, can we resolve problems? Yes, there are sadhanas that can remedy black magic. If one has not received empowerment, will the smoke offering sadhana be efficacious? Because I didn't know you need to receive empowerment, and I've already practiced it for some time. Some of you are so brave. I don't know whether it's a good or bad thing. If you did not receive empowerment and you're still alive, then that's great. But the fact that you are asking this question means that you're very safe. Quickly ask for empowerment, make up for it. Next question, how many times of smoke offering sadhanas do we need to carry out? Can it help us to resolve issues with those who dislike us or deceive us or cheat us of our money? Will it be of benefit to deceased ancestors? How many times of the smoke offering sadhana do we need to practice? This is a little similar or the same as the perspective of devotion or service to our Ida. This is a part-time practice, not full-time, so you can set certain conditions for your practice. So you can say, I will practice 21 times or 49 times of the smoke offering, or practice the smoke offering sadhana for 1 year and then I'll stop. Or you can say, I will practice until auspicious omens manifest. For instance, your karmic creditors' hindrances. Maybe you don't know whether they are hindrances from karmic creditors, but maybe in the past it's very difficult to close business deals, but then now business deals are more smooth, more easily closed, or you're more successful in your business. Or maybe family members caused a lot of obstacles in the past, and now but the situation has improved. So you can use these as ways to identify how many times or sessions of the smoke offering sadhana you need to practice. So you can choose whether it's durational or quantitative. Okay, second part of the question, can it help to improve the situations of people disliking us or people cheating us of our money? I am not able to answer specifically, but I believe there will be an improvement in the situation. Number 3, can the smoke offering sadhana be of benefit to deceased ancestors? I would say that the main purpose of the smoke offering sadhana is targeting our karmic creditors. For deceased ancestors, bridal deliverance would be of greater benefit.
不好意思，有时候用词不当。
不会不会，谢谢上师。请问上师，无时无刻在心里面念四尊心咒，也算是包括念10万遍心咒吗？
If we recite Grandmaster's heart mantra at any place and time, and will these be counted in our 100,000 times of the heart mantra? Or do we need to count? This is also related to the previous question where your devotion or service or devotional service to your idam is dependent on whether it's quantitative or durational or whether it is dependent on the manifestation of an auspicious sign or a sign of approval from your idam. So previously I did a lot of spiritual cultivation homework, and then I realized that if I didn't count, then it would be very difficult to complete 100,000 times of a mantra. Only when you count it will you really know whether you have done sufficient homework. If you use this mindset of chanting it at any time or place, you will not be able to be at peace with yourself because you wouldn't know for sure whether you have completed your homework. So if you are using the quantitative way of devotion, then
心里面念的话，你不用去管
you
那个念10
can
万遍的。好，这个是我的建议啊。
So this is my personal
谢谢上
recommendation.
师慈
If
悲
you're
开
asking this
示。
question, then
接
it
下
means
来，请
that
问上师，
you
修烟
are a
供是否
little
可以搭配
hesitant
的
or
月供
doubtful,
佛吗？甚
unsure
至以
of
观
whether
想
you
持
have
持戒
done your
或者
homework.
观世音菩萨跳舞来
The
供
next
佛。
question, when we do the
上
smoke
师解答。
offering, can we turn on the music
你是要
to
害我
offer
去
to the
这个画
Buddhas
面，是不是？观世音菩
or
萨跳舞，
visualize ourselves transforming to
哎呦，
Avalokiteshvara,
你这
dancing
个画
to
面很
offer
像，
to Buddhas? Are you
在
trying
佛法
to
来讲，
cause
你没错
problems?
哦，在佛法上来讲没有
For
错。
me,
可
I would
是
not
你
have
在
that
这个
visualization,
观
that
点
image
上，
in
我
my
觉得
mind.
你可能会打破很
From
多人的
the
这个传统的想法。观世音菩
of
萨会
from
跳
the
舞吗？ 你们
perspective
看到
of
观世音菩萨会跳舞吗？应该
from the
不会吧？
perspective of offering to
他
Buddhas,
他
it's
已
not
经
wrong, but it
是
would go against a
他
lot of
跳舞叫做同
traditional
行母吧。
beliefs. Those who
我
dance are
不敢
usually
回答这个
dakinis.
问题啊。我只是说
They
在佛
have
法
you
上，你
ever
这个观
seen
点没有错，你可以观
Avalokiteshvara
想任
dancing?
何的东西。
Would you
可是你要把观世音菩
um
萨变成跳舞的话，他的那个庄严感好像不见了嘞。
if you
他跳什
transform
么舞呢？是舞
Avalokiteshvara
吗？还
into
是芭蕾舞？
dancing,
你看，不管跳什么舞，那
that
个那个
sense
庄严
of
感就被破坏掉了。所
majesty
以
would
信供
be
肯定
affected.
是没有问题的啊，不
So
要把
if
这
you're
个
making
念
an
成
offering of your heart,
供养
if you want
佛
to turn
就
on the
可以。
music
可是
and make
观想观
offerings
世音菩
to
萨在跳
Buddhas,
舞这部
that's
分呢，
okay.
我
But
们不
I
需要考
really
虑这
don't
个。
know how to answer the question about
谢谢上师。
visualizing Avalokiteshvara dancing.
请问上师，我们供我们
Next
的烟供
question
在
about offering to
烟
karmic
供如放在
creditors. When
户
we
外，然
place
后
the
回到
censer
自己的坛
outdoors
城
and then
修
go
法，
back to our own
请问
altar
坛
to
城
practice the
是
Sadhana,
不是也要上
do we
香
need
呢？
to offer incense at our altars?
应该啦，应
I
该
think
上个
so.
香了，因
You
为
should
去
probably
坛
offer
城你也是
incense
要请
at your altar
坛城的
because
佛菩萨来帮
you
忙
need
你守
to
护啊，
invoke
来一
or
起加
invite
持，
the Buddhas,
应该。
Bodhisattvas at your
好，谢
altar to
谢这
come and
个
bless the practice
这
and
个观点。
empower the practice.
请问上师，我在不同的真佛道场请购了不同的烟供香
Next
跟供粉，
question. I
我
have
依照仪轨
purchased
来修持，但是
smoke
不同的烟
offering
供香
powder
呢，有
from
不同的修
different
法传授，
cultivation
这是什么样
venues,
的原因呢？ 难
and
道
I
我自
follow
己
the
的烟供在
Sadhana,
组禅身
but
里，
different
会对
kinds
不
of
同的
smoke
香气
offering
有不同
Sadhana
的觉受
have
吗？谢谢
result in
上师，
different kinds
谢谢
of
谢谢。
sensations or perceptions. May I know what
你
is the
让我想
cause of
起一个
this?
笑话，
Does it
那个
is it
有一个人对那个羊
because
肉
our karmic
吃
creditors
羊肉敏感啊，可是他
that
朋友
you
每
made
次
me
都很
think
喜
of
欢带
this
他去
joke.
吃羊肉，为
This
什么？
person is
因为
allergic
他朋友
to
说，
mutton,
这
but
样我才知道这
their
羊肉
friends
是不是
keep
真的。
bringing the person to eat mutton because
你可以告诉我哪
um,
一个
the
能供
friend
粉
said,
烧然后有感觉啊？我也要去买。
"Oh,
这个我没有办法
this
回
is
答，
how
为
we
什
know
么？
whether the
所
mutton
以
is
我才
authentic."
说为什么我祝
Because
你做
the
对这
friend
个
has
外面
a
别人
reaction
做法会
to
有
the
一种
mutton.
芥蒂啊，
So
我会觉
this
得
is
他们
why
偷
I
工减
have
料，我不晓得是不是偷工减料
I'm
的
so
啊，
particular about the
因
smoke
为
offering
你这个
powder
是
because
你
I
的
don't know
自理
whether
行政，你
um
自己察觉到的，所
different
以我没有办
organizations
法
or
回答
parties
你这个问
will
题。你
use
可能
less
是
of certain
要请一
ingredients in
个
their
已经
preparation
有
of the
修烟供
smoke
法的
offering
坛城，你
powder.
试试给他们拿来
So
修，是不是跟你得到相同的这个觉
if you
受？
know
如
that
果这
certain smoke
个
offering
这
powders
个
seem
自
to
由
be more
行政的问
efficacious,
题
maybe you can let
是
me know
比
so
较
that
难
I
回答的。
also know. This is a
假
little
如你
hard
担
to
心的话，你
answer
还是自己
because
做一个自己的烟供粉
um
好了。
if you're concerned about how your
谢谢
karmic
上
creditors
师。
respond to various kinds of smoke offering
请问
powder,
上师没有半点
what would put
施
your mind at
食
ease would be
施
to
食
prepare
法的
the
话，
preparation
我却在
yourself
佛塔已经
from
做了2
scratch.
年的工作，会
The
不会
next
导致
question,
我遭受到非常
I
多非
have
常多
not
的灾难的阻逼
received
呢？是不是
empowerment
因为
from
没有灌
for
顶？
Shifa, but at the cultivation
哎，
venue,
不是， 假如
I've
你是到
helped
道场
the
做了法
cultivation
会的
venue
话，
for
基
2
本上
years.
是不
Will
需
it
要灌
cause
顶
me
的，
to
因为这是属于道场
result
的
in a
工
lot of
作。因
hindrances
为在
and
显教里面，
disasters?
他们这些法师在做的
Um,
时候也是没有灌顶的，他们是没有
the
这
master
个
replies that
过程。
no, it will not
还
cause
有这
you
个在道
to
场里
encounter
面，
a
你
lot of
帮道场画这个
hindrances
令牌啊，也不需
because
要灌顶。
um,
很多人以为帮道
because you're
场
helping
画
the
这个令牌
cultivation venue to do it, you're not helping. For instance, they are drawing they're drawing the addict tablets. If you're doing talismans, for other people to ingest, you definitely need an empowerment. However, if you're helping to do the addict tablets for cultivation venues, you are I think you're referring to the noon offering or the evening ritual for cultivation venues. There is a slight difference between 施食法, which is personal practice, compared to the cultivation venues, evening ritual, or noon offering, which there shouldn't be any issues. If you feel that there are issues, then you can write to Grandmaster and pray for remote empowerment. However, if you're doing it for cultivation venues, then you don't necessarily need to receive, you don't need to receive empowerments for your own, for helping them, in their Dharma work. If you are encountering obstacles, it could be due to your own karmic hindrances. Next question, for the smoke offering sadhana, do we need to practice it at the same time every day? Can we practice it only when we have time and stop when we don't have time and tell them that we're not able to? When it comes to 施食法, there is this concept. For instance, if you're going away for some time, you need to tell the beings that you're bestowing nourishment, that you need to inform the ghosts and spirits that you're going away for some time and the practice has to cease. So the smoke offering sadhana, although it doesn't have such a requisite empowerment, from the human realm's perspective, imagine that if you have offended someone and you are offering, if you're treating him to a meal every day, for instance, if that person you have offended dislikes you so much, will he or she necessarily come the very first time you try to treat him or her to a meal? You first need to move the hearts of your karmic creditors, and they are willing to let go of their enmity. So you should at least do the sadhana for 3 consecutive days or 7 consecutive days. If you practice it whenever you have time and you don't practice it when you don't have time, you are not feeding your karmic creditors. They will not. You're not. You're not keeping ghosts. So it's more a matter of trying to ask them for their forgiveness. When you hurt them in a previous lifetime, maybe you cut them 2 times, 3 times, 108 times. The extent of karmic enmity was not caused when they have time and or not. So you need to keep expressing your sincerity. It's a matter of that sincere repentance. And you realize the extent of their suffering, their mind of vengeance, the cause of their mind of vengeance. And when you have that true heart of repentance, wishing for their forgiveness, that their suffering from following you for multiple lifetimes can be extinguished, use that kind of mind to practice the sadhana. The next question is, when we register karmic creditors for Grandmaster's Dharma ceremonies, does it have the same effect as burning joss paper and doing the smoke offering sadhana? When Grandmaster does the bridal deliverance, a lot of these spirits, some of them may not necessarily want to leave. They are still attached to relatives, or some are Christians or have belief in God. So from all these phenomena, we know that they have free will. They can choose whether they want to go or not. So your karmic creditors, if they have deep hatred and their wisdom is not able to arise from their innate Buddha wisdom is not able to arise, they are still contaminated by the three poisons, then will they leave so easily? So we can do this exchange of self and others. If people cheat you of your all your money, your possessions, and it caused you a lot of pain and suffering, would you want to leave that person alone so easily? They might at least still want to receive all the money that you have cheated them. So when you burn Joss paper, it is just one of the items of offering. You just try your best within your means. But the smoke offering sadhana has the purpose of trying to remedy, address that, easing that karmic entanglement. Okay, somebody has found this image of the Sambrani cup. This already has something inside. If you can add your smoke offering powder on top of it, then yes, you can. Thank you, Master Lian Lai, for compassionately answer all the questions, and that's the end of our Q&A session for today. We thank Master Lian Lai once again for your exciting teaching class, and we will continue with the lesson the week after next. Remember, next Friday is Grandmaster's birthday, so it will be changed to cultivation of Pamakumara Rukuru Yoga, and with the additional recitation of True Buddha Sutra to wish Grandmaster a happy birthday, and we welcome everyone to participate in the online practice if you can. And we will continue with the next lesson on the 20th of June. And we will once again invite Master Shi Lianying from Taiwan's Fahua Buddhist Center to teach about Homa, and we look forward to his class. Please attend the class punctually, and we thank all the volunteers behind the scenes, and we thank Dharma Brother Tu Cheng from the Indonesian Interpretation Channel. And now let's invite Master Lian Lai to say goodbye to everyone. Good night, everyone. Thank you, Master, for your hard work and dedication. And thank all masters online. Thank Master Lian He for joining us in this lesson. All senior reverends, Dharma instructors, Dharma assistants, all Dharma siblings, Pama Kumaras. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and that's the end of our class today. Amitabha.
谢谢上师阿弥陀佛，大家
谢谢主持人于凡讲师，谢谢连上师，谢谢阿弥陀佛，拜拜。
谢谢连来上师，谢谢主持人，谢谢大家，下次再见，
谢谢大家，
谢谢连来上师，
晚上好，
谢谢一飞讲师，再见，谢谢。
谢谢上面上
好，大家晚安了，
再见，
见喽。
原来上师，谢
再见，再见，
谢谢一飞，
下周再见，
谢谢彩虹之教，阿弥陀佛，
谢谢连来上师，谢谢连来上师，感恩。